Our headlines for tonight. Number of passengers at the port has reached over 34,000 according to Philippine Coast Guard.
Philippine-India bilateral relations play vital role in peace, stability in Indo-Pacific region, according to Secretary of Foreign Affairs Enrique Manalo.
The Philippine government repatriates 18 seafarers of seized oil tanker in Iran.
8 individuals arrested by National Bureau of Investigation for pretending as Department of Budget and Management officials.
Authorities drop search and rescue operations on Baltimore Bridge incident, missing individuals. 6 presumed dead. Good evening, bringing you the latest news for tonight. I am ALVIN.
And I am KRIZZA Lopez. This is Eurotv News Thread. For the stories, as weekend is looming near, higher number of passengers are expected to flood ports for the Lenten season. This Holy Wednesday, Philippine Coast Guard has recorded more than 34,000 passengers in the ports who are traveling home to their provinces for the holidays. More from this story.
The influx of the passengers who will go home to their provinces continues this Lenten season. Based on the monitoring of the Philippine Coast Guard, as of 12 o'clock in the morning this Wednesday, more than 34,000 passengers have flocked to the ports, according to the PCG data. They recorded 19,979 outbound passengers and 14,462 inbound passengers in all ports nationwide. The PCG also conducted inspections on 218 vessels and 56 motor barcas. To manage the influx of passengers, the PCG has placed stations and substations on heightened alert status since March 24 to March 31, 2024. In the statement of PCG spokesperson Rear Admiral Arman Balillo, the flow of passengers is still smoother, but they expect a higher number of people on the eastern and western seaboards. The authority is also monitoring parts in central Visayas and eastern Visayas that may increase maritime traffic. On the other hand, it is expected that the number of vehicles that will pass through North Luzon Expressway Balintawak Toll Plaza will increase by more than 10%. At the country's airports, especially at Ninoy Aquino International Airport, Terminal 3, many passengers arrive early to avoid traffic this Holy Week. This is KRIZZA Lopez for Eurotv News.
Meanwhile, transportation company Ube Express is offering a 50% discount for Filipino overseas workers or OFW for travel to or from Ninoy Aquino International Airport. Catherine Landicho reports.
This is said to be in gratitude to the OFWs who continues to help the Philippine economy with their remittances back to their families, according to Ube Express President Gary David. OFWs can now register online at the Ube Express website and so can walk in. Only OFWs registered with the Overseas Workers Welfare Administration or OWA can avail the promo. They are also required to present ID to the bus stop. David added that this is also a way for the company to reduce the number of passengers at the airport. It is also said to be a solution to help passengers amid transportation problems and scams at NAIA. Land Transportation Franchising and Regulatory Board or LTFRB Chairperson Teopilo Guadis III said that the transport scam remains a problem. He added that the buses could be a good alternative. Ube Express routes include NAIA going from Pitex, Santa Rosa, Araneta City, Cubao, Ayala Mall, South Park, Robinson's Place, Manila, Robinson's Galleria, and Victory Liner, Pasay. The fare range from 50 pesos to 300 pesos and OFWs can get the half rate. Catherine Landicho for Eurotv News.
and India are expected to strengthen already existing ties following the visit of Indian Internal or External Affairs Minister in the country. Aside from expansion of alliance, India has showed support to the Philippines in regards to the territorial aggressions from China. Access of the full story in my report.
Along with the visit of Indian External Affairs Minister His Excellency Subramaniam Jaisankar to the Philippines, it re-established the relationship between the Philippines and India. According to Foreign Affairs Secretary Enrique Manalo, the bilateral relations between the Philippines and India plays a big role in maintaining and promoting peace and stability in the Indo-Pacific region. The Philippines and India also reaffirmed its cooperation in defense, security, as well as cooperation in agriculture, food security, healthcare, and infrastructure.
Our countries have a shared interest in a free, open, and inclusive Indo-Pacific region. The Minister and I have decided to accelerate our maritime cooperation with a planned maritime dialogue with India, especially in marine domain awareness, shipping and seafaring, search and rescue, law enforcement, and environmental protection.
The growing comfort and trust between us is also reflected in the ongoing supplies of rice from India as an exceptional measure.
India is among more than 20 countries that have expressed concern and support for the Philippines over the latest harassment of Chinese ships in the West Philippine Sea. India and the Philippines both commit to remain compliant with the international rules-based order as stated in the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea or UNCLOS. Several Philippine Navy personnel aboard of Vinaysa May 4, the commissioned boat of the Philippines assigned for the resupply mission on March 23 to the military troops stationed at the BRP Sierra Madre and Ayungin Shoal, sustained injuries.
We had messages of support from over 20 countries, governments, who clearly stated the importance of adhering to international law. So we are fully supported in that respect. So in answer to your question, we have consistently reasserted our rights in accordance with international law insofar as the issues in the South China Sea or West Philippine Sea are concerned.
As a nation deeply invested in this region because of its Act East policy and Indo-Pacific vision, India follows all developments with great interest. We are strongly supportive of ASEAN's centrality, cohesion, and unity.
Meanwhile, Armed Forces of the Philippines Chief of Staff General Romeo Bronner Jr. has acknowledged the 3 members of the Philippine Navy who suffered wounds and injuries in a dangerous water cannoning of the Chinese Coast Guard. At the same time, Bronner assured that the incident would not deter the Philippine troops to conduct operations in the West Philippine Sea despite the presence of the Chinese vessels. ALVIN PELOBELLO for Eurotv News.
More stories up next as Eurotv newsfeed returns.
Nakaka-inlove talaga ang bango. Kahit nasa harap mo'y lilingon pa sa'yo. Lakas makaakit, alam na kung bakit. RC perfume pala ang ginagamit. Nakaka-inlove talaga ang bango. Kahit nasa harap mo'y lilingon pa sa'yo. Lakas makaakit, alam na kung bakit. RC perfume pala ang ginagamit. Kaya naman pala bango mo'y kakaiba. RC perfume, lakas ng dating mo, B. Basta tatak RC, tatak quality. Yeah, hey. Kung pabango lang ang pag-uusapan, doon tayo sa pinipili ng karamihan. RC perfume, the best talaga. Basta tatak RC, tatak quality. Nakaka-inlove talaga ang bango. Kahit nasa harap mo'y lilingon pa sa'yo. Lakas makaakit, alam na kung bakit. RC perfume pala ang ginagamit. Yeah, hey.
All 18 Filipino seafarers reportedly to be captured by Iranian Navy ships in January have safely and successfully returned back home in the Philippines. Following this, the Philippine government has extended its gratitude to Indian Navy with their help towards the said Filipino seafarers. More of the story on my report.
As the repatriation efforts of the Philippine government continues, the 18 Filipino seafarers aboard of the MV St. Nicholas, who was captured by the Indian Navy in January, was successfully repatriated. According to the Department of Foreign Affairs, 6 are the last last batch of the Filipino seafarers who have returned to the country last week. The Philippines also thanked the Iranian authorities for their understanding of the situation and for the release of the Filipino seafarers. Iran took custody of the MV St. Nicholas in retaliation to the United States seizing oil from oil tankers named under Suez Rajan in the year 2023. Foreign Affairs Secretary Enrique Manalo and Indian External Affairs Minister Subramanyam Jaishankar had the opportunity to thank the Indian Navy for responding to distressed Filipino seafarers aboard of the said oil tanker. Manalo has assured both the contribution of the Philippines and India when it comes to the merchant shipping,
a partnership that has reached unprecedented levels in its scope and depth in recent years. I also took this opportunity to convey personally to Minister Jaishankar the Philippine government's profound appreciation for the Indian Navy's immediate and effective response to the distress call of MV True Confidence, upholding a long-standing and fundamental maritime tradition and ultimately resulting in the safe return of 13 Filipino seafarers.
And the possibility of cooperation to ensure the safety of Indian and Filipino seafarers destined for the merchant vessels that will pass through the Red Sea.
Further noting both our countries' significant contributions in merchant shipping, we also explored possible cooperation to ensure the safety of Indian and Filipino seafarers, such as those working on board merchant vessels plying the Red Sea.
Meanwhile, the Philippine government continues to coordinate with allied countries for the immediate release of 17 Filipino seafarers who are held hostage by the Houthi rebels in the Red Sea. ALVIN PELOBELLO for Eurotv News.
The National Bureau of Investigation, or NBI, has successfully arrested the 8 individuals posing as high-ranking official of Department of Budget and Management. According to the press release, these suspects victimized contractor, whereas they promised the special projects of the government will be awarded to the complainant. More details from this story.
8 individuals were arrested in an entrapment operation by the National Bureau of Investigation, or NBI, after posing as officials of the Department of Budget and Management. The operation happened yesterday, March 26 of 2024. Based on the NBI's initial report, one of the suspects introduced himself as the Undersecretary of the DBM and is said to be in charge of DBM special projects. The suspects promised the complainant that they would help in releasing funds from the agency allotted for government projects in exchange for money. As for the details of the complainant, the suspect further assures that the complainant will be able to secure a government project worth 1.3 billion pesos if they agree to the said deal. The suspect claims there is a dam scheduled to be built and funded by DBM. In order to award a project to the contractor, they need to provide money for the blueprint of the project to be made or to process the documents. Due to the suspicious process, the contractor conducted a verification and found out that the agency did not have an official with that name. The agency also denied plans to build a dam. In this case, the DBM quickly coordinated with the NBI to nab the suspects in an entrapment operation at a restaurant in Mandaluyong City after it received the marked money of 500,000 pesos from the NBI. Secretary Amena Pangandaman said they strongly condemn these similar cases. She said she hopes that through the successful operation, it will become clear to the public they do not tolerate such fraud. She also insisted that her agency is serious about fighting the corruption. She called out the public to immediately report to the agency or the authorities if there was a similar experience. In the latest NBI statement, 2 suspects expressed their desire to be witness against the other suspect. This is KRIZZA Lopez for Eurotv News.
1 year after declaration of bird flu outbreak, Sultan Kudarat has cleared the said status and now avian-free. Vanessa Quiopas for the report.
The Department of Agriculture, or DA, has now declared Sultan Kudarat as bird flu-free. As a result, they are now allowed to resume selling their poultry product outside their province without worrying about any health threats. According to Agriculture Secretary Francisco Laurel Chu Jr., Sultan Kudarat has tested negative for avian influenza in surveillance activities conducted over 90 days. Furthermore, cleaning and disinfection in the province have been completed to ensure the absence of bird flu. It is recalled that pathogenic avian influenza subtype H5N1 was first recorded in the city of Tacurong as well as in the towns of Isulan, Lesbac, and Lutayan, where ducks, chickens, turkeys, geese, and many others were first affected by bird flu. Along this side, the department also lifted the import ban on poultry products in the U.S. states like Iowa and Minnesota that will take effect immediately. It is worth noting that bird flu emerged in the country from January 2022 until February 2023. The DA also stated that within the 90 days, the province showed no sign of new infections. Therefore, it is only fitting to declare it avian influenza-free. This is Vanessa Cleofas for Eurotv News.
5 Chinese dam workers in Pakistan were killed in a suicide attack after a suicide attacker targeted their vehicle in the area. Van Villegas for the report.
5 Chinese nationals working at a construction site were killed after a suicide bomber targeted their vehicle in northwest Pakistan on Tuesday. The vehicle they were traveling in plunged into a ravine along the Karakoram highway after being rammed by the suspect, who simultaneously detonated the bomb. Meanwhile, Beijing has provided billions of dollars to Pakistan in recent years, but China-funded projects have stirred resentment and their citizens are often targeted. In 2021, a bomb exploded on a bus taking engineers to the same building site, killing 13 individuals, including 9 Chinese national workers. The incident was classified as a terrorist act by the Chinese embassy in Islamabad, according to Chinese state media. This is Dan Villegas for Eurotv News.
For stories abroad, with 6 individuals still missing after the collapse of a bridge in Baltimore, USA, the authorities have decided to stop the search and rescue operations for them, presuming that they are already dead after the incident. We are in for the details.
There is a little to no chance that the 6 missing individuals in the Baltimore Bridge incident are still alive. This is what Maryland, USA authorities have presumed after still not finding the missing individuals despite their extensive search efforts, also considering the water currents and temperature in the area. It can be recalled that on March 26, a packed cargo ship collided with the Francis Scott Key Bridge, resulting in the steel bridge collapsing, leaving 6 nighttime crew members repairing potholes in it to go missing. According to Roland Butler, Maryland Secretary of State Police, they are now turning the search and rescue portion to a recovery operation, presuming that the missing crews were not able to survive. He noted that the search divers have had difficulties in continuing underwater operations given the water's temperature and currents. Aside from the missing individuals and the bridge that collapsed, no other people or vehicles were affected by the accident after a quick response from authorities to stop vehicles from crossing the bridge once they had received the mayday call from the ship. Meanwhile, FBI and other authorities in Maryland have dropped ideas connecting the incident to terrorism, emphasizing that preliminary investigation points it as an accident. This is Bia Layagin for Eurotv News.
And that's the latest news for tonight. You may visit eurotvph.com for more news and information. Once again, this is KRIZZA Lopez.
You can catch our broadcast live in our social media accounts and via Pinoy Stream channel. I'm ALVIN, PELOBELLO, and this is your TV News. Stay safe and have a good night, everyone.